one more guru tells me that they've escaped the system by trying to sell me a course, we are gonna have to shut the internet down, because I'm just getting bombarded on Instagram Meta. Like, you name the channel, they're there. So tonight I'm going to be exposing the biggest lies gurus are feeding you and showing you how you can tell real operators from the actual frauds, because I'm just sick of this. So firstly, the online space is flooded with garbage, and this is something that I just can't stay quiet about anymore. The online entrepreneurship space has never been really more polluted. There's gold out there, and there's real people and real founders and real educators, but they're being buried under a mountain of like fake flexing, fake screenshots, fake mentors, fake freedom, and a bunch of kids who frankly figured out how to market before they had any knowledge that was actually worth selling. And people are buying it, unfortunately, and that's really the tragedy. And here's the thing, the people who eventually learn the right things to teach, the real entrepreneurs out there that then start actually wanting to teach people, these are the ones who have built systems over time, and these things actually work. But here's the thing, the people saying this is how you get your first client or the first 10K, they've never built anything outside of their content calendar, and hopefully you're buying from them, and that's how they're going to get their own first 10K. So yeah, like the industry, I just think it's completely filled with trash, but it doesn't mean everybody's fake. And it just means the real ones are harder to find, and we can't rely on their marketing quality to tell us whether or not they're actually good at what they do. So let's get into the second part of this. Like, the big lie is that entrepreneurship equals overnight freedom. And this is why people are trying to shortcut all of this. And this is where nuance matters, to be able to find the real people that can actually help you. The freedom is real, it is possible, and it is what you should be working towards, but the way that these gurus sell freedom is a complete lie, because they're trying to sell you freedom on day one with some magical program, freedom with zero skills, freedom without responsibility, freedom without working, right? Freedom with no clients, no systems, no team, no infrastructure. And that freedom doesn't exist. I don't care if it's AI, I don't care, whatever it is, it's not real. The first 1 to 3 years, depending on how fast you move of your business, are going to chain you to your desk, and you gotta embrace it. You have to like basically understand that anchoring yourself to the desk and doing the work is the thing that's going to set you free. However, here's the paradox. If you try to generate freedom too quickly, it's actually going to get further away from you. You actually have to do the opposite and get into your business and build the system in those first few years that eventually will set you free. Real operators teach freedom as the end result and the outcome of having deep discipline, skills, and infrastructure, and building their leadership so that they can actually escape eventually. So this is about building fundamental skills and these other systems. Because here's the harsh truth. Entrepreneurship is responsibility first, freedom later. A job is freedom first, responsibility later. Because here's the thing, in a job, you clock in, you clock out. As a business owner, you're, at least for the first couple of years, going to be on call 24/7 until you build your people and your processes and your systems that actually allow you to step back. And this is where leadership kicks in, because you're going to have to actually find the right people. You can absolutely build freedom, and that's what we specialize in here at Agency Acquisitions, but you have to build through it. You have to have consistent delivery, consistent systems that scale you, building delegation skills, hiring, operations, infrastructure, leadership. Look, the list goes on and on. But here's the thing. These skills were not gifted. They weren't this thing that I learned overnight. It took me a decade and a half to do this. So you have to remember, freedom is engineered. It's not gifted. And that's where the gurus actually just lie to you. And look, if you want a full step-by-step on the details of how to actually delegate and, get people to do the right work in the right way, I have a free training, and it's 5 hours long, because it takes a long time to even explain how this works. And you can get it for free in the description, but these things take time and they take hard work. And so trying to escape from your business too early on is actually going to have the opposite effect, and you'll maybe like escape for a little bit, but it's going to drag you back in, and it's going to be worse than ever before. And this leads me really to part 3. And this is, I think, the funniest addiction of the entire space. It's like 10K a month. And it's like, look, I'm going to extend this and like even say like this obsession with 50K a month. Anyone who's built real revenue knows how silly this is, right? Like, the irony of these people is that they're trying to sell you like get to 10 or 20 or 50K a month. None of them have actually scaled a real business. None of them have dealt with like payroll, managed clients, had to actually create real value. And, they just resell like their own dream. If your entire business model is teach people how to make money, even though the only way I make money is by teaching people how to make money, you're probably not an entrepreneur. You're probably just an actor. And this is where the dark side of the marketing really happens. Like this emotional manipulation and funnel psychology, like it just gets really ugly, right? Like the behind the scenes of these funnel scripts, the closers, the objection handling frameworks, the emotional hot buttons. And here's really how they sell. They weaponize your dreams against you. And if that sounds like ridiculous, it's because it is. These are some of the things that we heard from actual sales closers on some of these programs. Example, do you not want to retire your mom? Are you the kind of person who stays broke? Grab your card, let's step into your new life. These are actually lines that people use during closing. And like, look, this isn't coaching or consulting. Like, this is straight up psychological warfare. They're taking human hesitation, which is healthy, and frame it as a personal failure. Like, if you hear anything that sounds overly salesy, like, please run away, because a real person that actually knows what the heck they're doing is actually going to sit with you and walk through their frameworks with you and show you in detail. And you are going to know whether this person knows what they're talking about. Okay. And these are the general flags outside of these examples, like a general lack of, courage on their part to show you what they're actually talking about. And look, they'll jump through these weird mental hoops just to close you on like a 6, 8, or even 10K offer that you can't refund because their terms are worded like a complete hostage situation, right? Like, real educators don't need to manipulate you. Real operators don't need to shame you, and real founders don't need to pressure you. They just show you how their stuff works and their track record and their operations and their results. And they're not going to close you on fluff. And you're going to buy because of that substance, not because you're guilted into it or like emotionally like manipulated into. The best thing I can tell you is like, take more than one call when you take a call like this. And number 2, like, never agree on the spot. Like, always walk away and think about it. All right, so let's get into the meat of this. How to spot a real operator versus a guru pretender. Let's go through the fake guru signs. The only income stream is selling how-to courses. So like, this is red flag number 1. All content is emotional hype, zero execution detail, right? Like, they got to show you the actual execution in detail. Like, how does it actually work? Do they have depth of understanding? Do they have models? Are the models deep, right? Flexing lifestyle versus showing the actual work. Look, a little bit of flexing lifestyle is okay, but they got to show their work and the depth of thinking. No track record outside of teaching, tries to pressure you into investing today. Again, never do that. Always walk away and think about it. Screenshots, but no audited financials of any kind. Every piece of content leads to some sort of like funnel, right? Rather than like free education. So free education is huge, and like you have to consume as much of their free education as possible. And if it looks thin, it probably is thin, right? Versus what are the signs of a real operator? Their primary income probably comes from an actual business. And what they're doing with this teaching, coaching, consulting thing is probably just extra revenue because they've already done it and they just want to teach other people how to do it at this point, right? They show you their systems, their numbers, their operational frameworks. They're consistent. This isn't emotional. This is practical. They talk about the ugly side of the business. They don't try to actually like sell you. The results speak for themselves, whether that's their teams, their clients, their infrastructure, track record. They teach freedom after foundation and not before. And generally, these are people that have done, either 7 or 8 figures. They've built teams, they've built products, they've built systems, they've scaled brands, and they've built things like dashboards, operations, and SOPs. And they can prove that they've built it themselves and that there's somebody worth listening to. And here's the trick. There's a lot of people out there that have built businesses, but they weren't the ones that actually built it. I know a ton of people out there, they got lucky and they found some second in command founder that owned like 20% of their business, if not less. And that person carried the entirety of the systems. And this person was just like a really good salesman. So you got to be careful about that too. So like, some people that have a track record don't actually know, they couldn't even repeat their own success, even if they wanted to, because it's that person in the background that's probably like a super introvert that actually built everything. It's not somebody 21-year-old in a rented apartment talking about escaping the system. And here's one of the most important things I'm going to say about this. If you're the type of entrepreneur or senior executive that can get fooled by a fake guru, getting fooled once is not a bad thing, because you're going to learn how to prevent it in the future. So like, if it costs you 5 to 10K one time to like take the fall and then learn all the BS and all the tactics and all of this stuff, and you never make the mistake again, and that's the price of admission to like figuring out how to work with real people, it's probably worth it. Here's the thing. Real entrepreneurs, the ones that are going to succeed, are going to succeed in spite of what any guru, whatever, tells you. You're going to be able to find the right people because they're going to be telling you something different. And when you hear that different thing, you're going to be like, this is it. This person actually knows what they're talking about. And your ability to determine whether or not somebody actually knows what they're talking about is a key element in leadership training, because you, as a senior executive slash owner, need to know who is actually real and who's actually fake. Because guess what? When you go to build your team, you need the real people. So take your leadership hat and put it on, and then figure out who's a real person and who's not. And if you're talking to a salesperson the whole time, ask to speak to somebody else, and that way you're going to root out the person right away. So here's really the rub of this. This is why most people fail before they even start. People don't fail because the business doesn't work. They fail because they were sold the wrong starting mindset. And I hate the word mindset, but I don't know how else to really communicate it. They started for speed, not skills, not freedom, not foundation. They started for lifestyle and not for entrepreneurship. And if you're building a business, you should expect 1 to 3 years of insanity, followed by like years 3 and maybe 4 to be kind of uncomfortable before you can even find some semblance of freedom. But what happens at the end of those years? It's like, well, if you built the right operations, if you hired the right people, and you built the right systems and the real delivery stack, you can then start to step back and you can let the business work for you rather than you for it. And here's the problem. The gurus try to skip way ahead, and they skip this point of friction, so they've never gone through it. Whereas the operators are going to teach you how to get through these tough times in an accelerated pace. So like, really, you're just buying acceleration and knowledge. Because remember, the real builder who built a real business built their wealth through equity, not really monthly income. Every major entrepreneur built something and then sold it. You're building something someone would one day actually would want to buy. Building a system that is actually bigger than yourself, even if you never actually want to sell it. The act of building something durable makes you wealthy, not 10K a month, even 30K a month, or even 50K a month. Gurus sell you freedom today. Real operators show you how to earn freedom in the future. The dream sellers get rich by selling you the dream, but it's not an actual dream. It's kind of a nightmare. The real entrepreneurs get rich by building within reality. And guess what? Reality is not that clean looking. It's kind of gritty, and that's how you know it's more real. Like, these things are actually hard work. And hey, like, this is generally different from what I usually post on our channel, but I had to say something because like, I've just seen way too much of this stuff. Thank you for watching, and subscribe if you're here to learn exactly how to build the systems that actually give you real freedom. I'm going to tell you now, they aren't easy, and they do take a lot of work to do, but if you do them, they're going to pay dividends for you in the future.